few months ago I put out a video comparing the Sequential Prophet 3 and the Moog Matriarch. Then, a few weeks after that, I followed up with another video comparing the Prophet 6 and the Rev 2. See, people on YouTube really seem to like comparison videos. Why is that exactly? I mean, sure, you get to pick a side and hurl insults at fellow musicians who choose the other side in a comments section of a third musician's YouTube channel so that he can simultaneously lose all faith in humanity while also being just a little excited that people, okay, let's face it, dudes, are finally engaging with his work. But then realizing that maybe these aren't the kinds of people, dudes, that one should want engagement from. I mean, I guess I chose this life when I started actually trying on this channel a few months ago. So it's my fault, really. This isn't even an original idea, I don't think. I'm pretty sure I stole this idea from a Ben Jordan video I saw like a year ago or something. Wasn't he playing like a freestyle drum solo underneath it or something? So I guess it's totally different. Wish I could play the drums. Instead, I took organ lessons. Stupid. I wonder if he'll hunt me down in the forest and kick my ass for using a similar inner monologue intro for this subpar video. I think he knows martial arts and has like a army of ducks or something. Anyway, I guess I need to quit stalling and get back on topic. And that topic is comparing two even more different synthesizers, the Moog Matriarch and the Sequential Prophet 6. Now I know what you're thinking to yourself. Nathan, what do these two synthesizers have in common? Well, they're both really good sounding analog synthesizers. Good night, everybody. Yeah, I think that went pretty well. I think I covered just about everything I wanted to cover. Oh, there's more. Now, in order to do a legitimate comparison of two synthesizers that admittedly have very little in common, I think we first have to address the difference between polyphony and paraphony. Now, I'm speaking in layman's terms here, how they're most commonly used today, not in Dodi terms. Now with the Prophet 6, you get 6 analog voices, each with its own set of oscillators, noise source, its own filter, its own envelopes, its own LFO. Each of these run in parallel to the other and are independent. Each voice has its own VCA at the end of the chain, so you're literally playing 6 analog synthesizers at the same time if you're playing 6 notes at once. That's why these synthesizers are often more expensive, because the manufacturer has to actually build an analog synth for each voice that are all capable of sounding at the same time. The Matriarch's architecture is a bit different. By the way, I'm doing this in the middle of a thunderstorm, so to draw yet another Ben Jordan comparison, we're both putting our lives at risk and all of our equipment, thousands of dollars worth of gear at risk. And, I don't want to say who's the more brave of the two of us, but I am trying to make a living as an independent musician in southern Mississippi, so I'll leave that for you to decide. Fewer alligators, though. Now, the Matriarch has 4 oscillators that can all be played simultaneously, but all of them are fed into the same mixer, the same filters, they're stereo filters here on the Matriarch, and the same filter and VCA envelopes. Now this is why cranking up the oscillators into the same mixer, which go into the same filter, which go into the same VCA, can lead to a very pleasant overdrive in the Matriarch, because it's an all analog circuit path. It overdrives in a very pleasing way, and it's part of the character of the Moog sound. So you could think of the Matriarch's architecture and the way that this paraphonic synth is structured as being like a funnel, where all of the oscillators feed into the same signal path, and they come out the end all sharing the same VCA, the same filters, the same everything. And that's in contrast to the Prophet 6, which would be all parallel. I think the easiest way to demonstrate this would be for me to play a little bit of each one. Now, to avoid confusion here, a little bit of explanation, I'm using the MIDI out to control the Prophet 6. So I will be playing on the Matriarch, but as you can see, the main volume is all the way down, so what you will be hearing is the signal from the Prophet 6. I'm going to play a little bit with the filter envelope so that you can hear that each filter envelope, when I play each note, is re-triggering independently from the others. And then I'm going to contrast that with the Matriarch, which is going to fire the one filter envelope that it has every time a new note is played. So you can hear there, as I was holding the top notes and re-triggering the bottom notes, it is not re-triggering the top. All right, let's switch over to the Matriarch and see what happens when we try something similar. So you can hear every time I play a new note, no matter where it is and what I'm holding, it's going to re-trigger everything. And that's with multi-trig on, by the way. If you turn that off, it's going to wait for the last voice to finish its release pattern and before it plays all of the VCAs again, or re-triggers all of the VCAs again. So I can play without re-triggering the VCA until I release everything and play again. Now this may seem like a limitation on the Matriarch, and it definitely is. It's not a polyphonic synth, so why would you want this? Does that mean that polyphonic is better than paraphonic? No, it's just different. I love paraphonic synths when it comes to making Arps, because you can change each oscillator and have it do really crazy things. So let's do some sync stuff here. Yeah, I don't know exactly what I'm going to get here. This may be a little bit crazy. Let's do hold and make sure we're set to ARP. So as you can see, I can get some very different results when using an arpeggiator with a paraphonic synth than with a polyphonic synth like the Prophet 6, or even a monophonic synth, which doesn't give you that same round-robin effect, which, by the way, you can adjust the round-robin settings in the Matriarch by simply holding down one of these buttons along with the sync enable button, and while you do that you also have to hold one of these keys down and then press something else. This light will start to flash, so it's pretty easy to tell what's going on there. And then something else happens, and we've got the glide knob, which has nothing to do with this, and it's really that easy. I mean, I don't know how they could make it much more simple than that. So I've spent a little bit more time on the Matriarch here because maybe we aren't quite as familiar with the architecture of a paraphonic synth. So you may be asking yourself, well, what's so great about the Prophet 6? This is supposed to be a comparison video between the two of them. And with regards to that, I would just have to say, watch this video down here, where I talk about that in more detail. Boom. I think I just graduated from YouTube school, everybody. Show me what I won.